So we're going to turn to the weekend's GAA, and the news this afternoon is that the 4 games which were cancelled across the weekend have been refixed. So in Division 1, Monaghan Kerry will be on next Sunday. That's the 18th of February, 2:30. Cavan Meath will be on in Kingspan Breffni Park 2 o'clock, and Division 3 Derry Offaly will be at Celtic Park at 2, and Sligo Fermanagh will be at Markovich Park at 2. So those games were cancelled. They're all happening next Sunday, and that means, by the way, if you're desperate to see this Meath Cavan O'Byrne Cup final between Meath and Westmeath, that has been refixed for the second time. So that's going to happen 11th of March. If the weather behaves over the next few days. We have David Brady here in studio, who was freezing himself at Salt Hill yesterday for Mayo Galway. How you doing?
Good, yeah, thawed out. The blood, the body was freezing, but the blood was pumping. Not alone in the stands, but on the pitch. It
was that you who charged onto the pitch?
No, that meant the bull. The bull is still, what do they call him? The bull is still, he's still in his pen. Yeah, I think he has another 6 months to serve in suspension.
Right. Then. Is Salt Hill always cold, even in summer?
Oh man,
yeah, I've heard that.
Always cold.
Always.
But look at Menzies, well, it is open to the elements, but it was damn bloody cold leaving yesterday because football wise, and look at the games, what we're having. This is we better realise it now. We're having a fairly competitive championship. That's what we're doing now in this league. No matter which way you look at it, you can say the quality isn't great, but look at the conditions don't suit it. But whether it's Donegal, Dublin, Mayo, Galway, even the Tyrone, Kildare game, we're getting excitement, entertainment, and some things that I don't think is any place in football or on a football pitch.
Yeah. I'm sure people saw the results. So Dublin on Saturday beat Donegal by 5 points, 20 points to 15. Pearse Stadium, which we'll get to now, Galway in the end won by 5. It was 113 to Mayo's 11 points. At Newbridge, Tyrone beat Kildare by a single point in the end, 116 to 18 points. So the table has Dublin and Galway top of the table on 6 points apiece. Donegal and Kildare both yet to register any points after 3 games. So talk to us about Pearse Stadium then, Mayo Galway. There were 3 red cards in this game. It's becoming very apparent that these two teams really don't like each other. There's a real element of niggle. Keith Duggan did a piece in the Irish Times over the weekend, and Jim Carney was quoted in the piece saying he thinks since the 2013 championship meeting that there has been a bit of badness in this clash. Now, a bit of badness has crept in. In short, it's because Galway have improved and now they're genuine rivals. They don't like each other, and it blew up again yesterday.
Yeah, and every time the two teams meet, they see red, whether it's in their mindset or red cards. Because again, yesterday we had it in the championship last year.
Yeah, Keith Higgins sent off for hitting Comer, and it was a bit dirty enough blow. It was unlike Keith Higgins, but he did. Yeah,
and look at I'm saying as what I see it. I'm not wearing the red and green jersey on me. No, it's there's no place for it, and it's I would say I would question the managers to an extent.
Kevin Walsh afterwards said he didn't see anything. he didn't see much.
And you know what?
Rochford said, look, it's disappointing. We have to keep our discipline. In fairness to Kevin Walsh, he did go on to say, look, we have to keep our discipline a bit better. But I think both of them quietly want their players revved up. No,
Lance is revved up. There's revved up, and there's a way you can rev up players. And I do think there's been a massive amount of it in football. Is that it's I think we had a conversation last year about mouthing. There's no mouthing now. There's digs. There's if you miss a free, if you're off the ball, getting someone to retaliate.
And was this bubbling all the way through? Like, did you feel
it was? Yeah, no, this wasn't
come out of nowhere.
No, this was from the very start. And again, I remember last year at the start, both teams. Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. And at the start last year, I felt in the championship game that Galway brought it to the game, steeliness, a toughness. Now, yesterday it went overboard on both teams, but there's a steeliness and a toughness to this Galway team. Now, there's a roughness as well. And I for one, and I'm saying it, I think it's an absolute disgrace that the way Aidan O'Shea is getting treated.
Go on.
And I'm taking him as a player every single game. Now, what Killian did was wrong. And you know what? He needs to learn from it.
Yeah.
But every single game, you watch it, you see it. He has been absolutely pulled, dragged and battered. And you know what? I probably, if I was an opposition manager, I'd be nearly saying, you know what, boys, go at him again. He's on a yellow. He was on a yellow yesterday when there was 2 Galway players booked. They went at him for one single reason only, to get him sent off, because he was on a yellow. But it was through it wasn't through a nasty. It was through a yellow card tackle. You know, it wasn't a punch or a slap or a slight hit. Every single game he's getting like Mayo played 8 games, or there's been 8 players in the last red carded against Mayo.
Yeah,
he is, and I go on. What happened besides that was there's no place for it.
But you think there's a fairly concerted effort to?
You know what, Joe? It's not
leave things on O'Shea.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And would I focus on him? I remember John O'Mahony saying to me, John O'Mahony became my manager, and I said, John, when you were manager of Galway, like, what was your tactic with me? He said, to be honest with you, David, we kind of we singled you out. We thought you could have been got at. And I'm going, like, I loved that. I actually I loved when I had players like Sean O'Donnell coming and trying to knock lunch out of me. I played better. I didn't retaliate.
O'Shea, from memory, I could be forgetting something very glaring here, but doesn't seem to react all that often. It's not like a Dermot Connolly kind of situation.
No, he does. No,
but he doesn't. But he can get caught up in his own little.
If you go back
battle,
to Kieran Donaghy, he did have a. He went toe to toe,
okay,
to a degree.
Yeah,
and
Donaghy, fair point.
The retaliation.
Yeah,
or is it getting? But
so he's not an angel either.
No, there's no one angel, and there shouldn't be. But you know what? Football-wise, Galway were 100 times better.
I'll come to that in 1 second, because actually, James Horan even today was talking about just how good Galway were and how disappointed he is in Mayo from a football point of view. So, for people who didn't see it, something broke out off the ball. I think it was O'Shea who was on the ground he was being pulled or dragged, and the whole thing kind of kicked off.
Yeah.
And then there were a few yellows dished out, and Conroy, the Galway player, started things up again. He got a red card. And
you know what? The referee was good, bad, or indifferent. The referee didn't see that, but he was pointed to him that it was what you call goating, or
sledging.
Whatever, yeah. He given, and he, yellow card.
Yeah. And then I thought you mentioned Cillian O'Connor. That was the poorest moment, I thought, where him and Karen, the Galway defender, were coming together. He knew Karen was about to lean into him. The ball was going out over the sideline, and he knew his elbow was at a nice height for Karen's head, and he gave him an elbow in the head and got a straight red card. That was a definite straight red card.
Brought it out. Yeah. He was. You know what? He was frustrated because the player kicked the ball away. So bloody what?
Yeah.
You kick the ball away, you're going, you can't take the law into your own hands. There is a certain degree of frustration in Killian's game, and I think it all stems from he's playing too much football. He is playing constant. He has played every single game that he's fit. Every game he has played, he's played it.
Right. Are his club commitments big as well? Or
well, you know what? County semi-final, replay. The replay on a Wednesday night, and you're going, by this, it's a lot of football. It's too much football.
Right.
And I think, you know what? If you compare it to Aidan O'Shea last year, Aidan played damn all league. Kind of came back in the last. Came on against Tyrone, I think it was, Donegal. That was it.
Yeah.
And he could see it, his freshness and his exuberance in the summer.
So you feel almost, because people would say, oh, you can't excuse it, and there's that point too. But
no, I'm not. I'm not for 1 minute.
Yeah. But if you're trying to find the reason for it, you think maybe he's playing too much and is frustrated.
It's frustrated, and the game we play, in the game that Mayo play in the winter, is exactly the same as they play in the summer, and you can't do that.
Hard running,
taking the ball, taking men on. You won't take men on, and they're killing themselves. But that's the style. You look at the other teams, and I've seen it in the last week or 2 weeks. A lot of teams are going for the longer ball, more direct approach into the full forward line, having a target man. Aidan was in there for very minimal time yesterday, but it doesn't serve Mayo well. No, it didn't serve James Horan well either. Mayo have done nothing in the league for the last 6 or 7 years.
I know. So if we move away from the discipline issue then, and you make sense of the game, like James Horan today in his piece in the Star said Galway deserving winners, and to be frank, Mayo were abysmal. But I think a lot of people are now at a point with Mayo where they look at the league, and even increasingly early championship, where they seem to get into epic battles against lesser opposition, and certainly on the basis of last year and to an extent the year before, I'm not that worried about them anymore. I mean, are you seeing anything in Mayo this year that would make you think, I'm more worried than I was last year or the year before? Or is this just now what we have come to expect from Mayo?
Looking back in the paper, I'm worried about their scoring return from play. It was abysmal. You know what? It's not the same as the last 3 or 4 years. Yeah, right, at the very start of the league as well. Now, I'm going to myself, there's one date, and it's embedded in my mind every Mayo's mind, and every May the bloody 13th.
Galway.
D-Day.
Yeah.
Now, you could have a scenario where whoever wins that game is saying happy days. Happy days. They haven't won anything, but they have the first step on the championship road. For Mayo, if they lose that game, it won't be a road. They will not, and I can tell you now, not come back from that.
Why?
Because they're putting everything into the championship, everything into this game in championship in May against Galway. It's talked about long before this week or today or last week, and they're putting their focus on Donny Buckley is the common denominator in Mayo for the last 7 years. He has strategically focused their minds, their brains, their bodies.
He's their fitness guy, is he?
He's selector, coach, mentor. He's everything,
right?
And he's everything to the players now. That's been openly. Lee was in here last week talking about him. He means a lot, but he has them. You will never see them lacking fitness when they really, really need it. They haven't introduced anyone new. So that
was Horan's point, actually, the one I wanted to get to. So if we accept then that Mayo and the league are just not really ever going to light things up, it seems, he says the big worry is not many new players really at all putting their hands up, and the point is, as Mayo fans will know, they can match Dublin 15 for 15 pretty well. It's that Dublin bench over the last 2 years which has made the big difference ultimately, and Horan, for instance, is looking at the Mayo bench and looking at this league campaign, and he's not seeing any game changers when it comes to September.
No, and you didn't see them in last year's league, and it was Conor Loftus that got us out of the fire against Derry.
Yeah.
Conor Loftus that come on in 1 or 2 games. He only played 20 odd minutes of the league. So you're going, and again, I seen him yesterday and I'm going, it's not conducive to a corner forward in conditions like that he's light, he's fast, he's nimble. Whereas Damien Comer, he's
made for this time of the year.
He's made for this time of the year. He's ideally suited.
How impressive were you with Galway? A few people have mentioned they have is Paddy Tally, Pori Tally,
yes,
from Tyrone.
Defensively,
stiffening him up.
And I read about him today. Who was on this morning? I do listen to 24/7 from Down. What's his name?
It would have been Danny Hughes.
Danny Hughes, yeah. I was reading Danny and listening to Danny, and I'm going, Danny has massive time from him. He said that he was the most influential and best coach that he had.
Yeah.
And that's the coaches are making a difference. And again, very much they're very attacking, counter-attacking, but it's down to one thing, and it's their work rate. Their work rate was twice better than Mayo's yesterday. When you have the Comer coming back this possession, you have Shane Walsh come back on his own full back line, they were willing to work. They're fresh. Now, being fresh and winning your first 3 games and losing the championship.
Yeah.
Like
they're going to be in a hungrier place than Mayo.
They're up at the big boys the first time since 2011, and they're well able to match, equal and better than it.
Yeah.
Very much like Roscommon were. Going to a National League semi-final and beating the Currys of this world, and finishing second in the National League and then capitulating in the championship.
So in a final point, impressed with Galway and more
very
defensive.
impressed.
Yeah. Does what you saw yesterday change how you feel about May 13th?
Does, yeah.
Does it?
It does.
Are you a bit more worried?
I'm not worried, no.
Okay.
I'm vexed. And so, as a man says, I had a young coach once, and he says, whatever you do, keep your neighbours down.
Well, look, I'm delighted to hear you're watching OTBAM.
Yes.
So Dublin Donegal then in Crow Park. Dublin 20 points, Donegal, Freudian slip. Dublin 20 points, Donegal 15 points. Dublin seemed to be always in control of this game. What did you make of it? I know you watched it.
You know what? Again, impressive from both sides.
Right.
Lovely. Some fantastic scores, some fantastic passages of play. Do you see kinks? Look, it's 60. Was it 60 odd games now or something that Dublin have only lost once. But they were domineering when they needed to.
Okay.
They pressed the turbocharge. Again, Kilkenny, Fenton, Basquel. Excellent. 4 points. Yeah. And you're going, you know what? He's another addition. Yeah. And he has Mayo roots, but it ain't no good to us.
Yeah.
He was very impressive. Scully, again, you're going, this is the guy that we've seen last year, 12 months into his career.
So everything's pointing towards this machine is just taking over nicely.
It's taken over nicely, but you have to sit in a group, in a room, and you have to talk about situations and game plans and strategies, Donegal had an ideal opportunity to win this game and to push on, and that they had two disastrous whites and Michael Murphy coming off the bench. Rusty. Now, I don't believe in it. Cillian O'Connor did it last week, coming off the bench, bang, straight in. Your eye isn't in, your mind isn't in. If you look at an NFL game, no, look at it. It's their kicker. The NFL kicker kicks about 50 kicks on the sideline.
So when you say you don't believe in it, you don't believe in Murphy?
No, whoever comes, come in, get into it, and I'll tell you.
Straight away.
Yeah. And that
he missed for about 17 metres.
17 out on the left hand side, right footed. Perfect. That was their time. That was their opportunity, and they pulled the trigger on their two whites too soon. They could have worked in a little bit closer.
What kind of football are Donegal playing?
You know what? And I'm impressed with their style of football.
More attacking.
Paddy McBrearty, outstanding, 7 points. They're a lot more attacking, and they're not afraid to deliver it long either. Now they try to deliver it long when they should never have looked at the option, but they're thinking that way. So you can see, you know what, if we don't try it and make mistakes, whether it's in Crow Park or in Ballybuffet on the training surface, you're not going to learn, you're not going to adapt. And I do like the way that Declan Bonner is setting them up. They worked very hard, tenacious. Again, it was just the overall smartness, experience of the Dublin team, the build-up. There was one stage there where McCarthy was going through, Kilkenny was going through, and they had men either side.
Yeah.
And again, O'Gara coming around on the loop, bang, pop it over.
And these lads are fresh off a holiday. They should be a bit rusty, but there's no major sign of it.
You know what? They're enthusiastic. And they're athletes. They're not coming back 2.5 stone overweight. They're enjoying themselves.
And did you come back? How much did you put on in a winter?
I actually, you know what? I never put on anything, honestly. But I do remember we had I remember Liam McHale putting on 2.5 stone. I swear to God.
In a winter.
And the winter then.
What was he
doing? The winter then was. We were still playing. I think it was like 6 weeks.
You would have played November.
Yeah. So it was November, and you come back into January. So that's
2.5 stone. 2.5 stone. It wasn't muscle.
I think he went to America for an extra 3 weeks over January. And I actually do remember him coming home in the car that night after training, and by Jesus, it was like we had a dying animal in the back. We ran over something, but that doesn't happen anymore. You don't.
No, it's true. Although Bernard Brogan is the very sad news. That's a season ender. Hopefully, it's not. You'd like him.
I'm telling you,
to get a goodbye.
It's not a career-ending injury for.
No, he's 34, 35.
But that man, he's the body of a 25-year-old. He's minded himself. He has been dealt a serious blow, and I hope to God it's not the end, because he has the capability to offer more. Unfortunately, he's not going to be this year with the news that we've heard that it is a cruciate. But his destiny now is in his own hands. The way he's been playing last year, he was very unlucky not to be starting. He was playing fantastic football, fresh as a trout.
He's lost a few. It looked to be a bit lighter last year.
Lighter and everything else. He can. It took. Can you play at 36, 37? They're a rare species, but look at Andy Moore and getting Player of the Year at 35.
Yeah.
There is a possibility. It's going to be National League next year, 9 months from now, when he's coming back, and he's a loss. He's a loss for Dublin.
Yeah.
I cannot. He won't be. He'll be in on the Dublin setup, I would say, within the next 5 or 6 weeks, because his influence and the way that he influences and positively his team, they can't do without him on or off the pitch. But I do sincerely wish him the best recovery possible.
We'd echo that. One last point then. Tyrone went down to Newbridge and beat Kildare by a point. We've talked a bit about Tyrone already in the last couple of weeks. We haven't really touched on Kildare. Tomas O'Shea, I saw on the highlight show on RT last night, was asked about Kildare, and he actually it was more his expression, and he threw a hand as if to say, if they're the next best thing in Leinster to Dublin, we're in trouble.
Yeah, but look at it. I was angry. I'd have given Tomas a slap last night, because I don't see it like that at all. You have to learn. They're up there now in Division 1. They're not proving it on the table. They're not getting the points. But you know what? There's a lot of benefit, and we'll see it. If Kildare to compete in Leinster against Dublin, there's only one way they'll do it, by learning the lessons. And again, there was opportunities yesterday that they didn't take to win that game.
Right.
There was one or two refereeing decisions that I think was absolutely atrocious, especially one that he was gone. And he called it back by 20 yards, and he was gone through the centre.
Play the advantage,
yeah.
Right.
But you will not see the benefit on the league table, but you'll see the benefit. The Feelies, the Flynns of this world. They're only coming back. Kelly's only coming back. This is their first year, really, 100% at it.
So you don't buy the notion, finally, then that confidence could be so badly dented it might affect them in the Championship. You'd sooner have them be in Division 1, probably being relegated, as opposed to running away with Division 2.
Without a doubt. And you see it, and every single year, the teams that finish the strongest in the league do the better in Championship. If they can get one or two wins at the very end, like Roscommon did last year, they bet Cavan in the last bloody game, and they went on then to an All-Ireland quarter-final. You get a little bit of confidence in April, it'll serve you well in the summer.
David Brady, pleasure.
Pleasure, Joe.
Hey, hope you enjoyed that latest offering from Off the Ball. If you want to subscribe, and you should, check out just up here. All our latest stuff is just down here. Generally, knock yourself out.